Hey guys, back again, and well, I was recording the post part, but you can see we have something odd here, and this happened a little bit after I started recording, so I already had what it was the post functionality, but I want you to see this error, okay, which is error connection refused, okay. So we refresh, and well, although it doesn't display an error there because I think that was because of the post, let's go to the API panel or git bash, and you can see we have this Mongo network error. Okay, it says also connection established because when I built the API, I didn't expect this error to happen. So this is something that you will face often with MongoAtlas. So let me sign in. Yes. Everything is stored. Yes. So we will have to do this. Min tut. I think this is the one. And it was on network access for this one. So we have to, let me just delete this. Yes. And delete this one. Yes. And add IP address. So add current IP address. Confirm. So this is pending. And let's wait for that. So this error happens because they match the specific ID you have when you create the cluster. So if that changes, then you are not allowed to use that cluster. Okay. So we have this, and if we say Control C and npm run dev, everything should be fine now. Let's just wait a little bit. Okay, and you can see we don't have that error because the current IP I have now is set. So you will need to do that, and we come back here and refresh, and you can see we get everything else. So that is a problem that you will face often with MongoAtlas, that since it's kind of security implementation, so they match the IP in order for you to use the cluster. But if that changes, then you are not allowed to use it. Okay, so let's now continue with the functionality. So let me just import. So this is inside the post component.ts. So we are going to import this, but I'm going to cut this one because it's the same from router, and add it there and delete this one. So we're going to import the API service, the activator route and router, the map, subscription, and form control and validators. You can see where we are importing those. Okay, so just copy those because we need those in order to continue. So let's go to the constructor and add the API instance, the route for the activated route, and the router that is using the router. Okay, so as I said, this is not a pure beginners application. So if you are having some problems following this, go to the Firebase RxJS, okay, where I explain most of this functionality. Even though it's with Firebase, you will get the idea, and then you can come back and see what we are doing. So this is kind of the same, except that using Node.js. So we create these variables, the post, the current ID, which is going to have the ID from the URL, using route.snapshot.param_map.get and the ID. The post subscription, because we will need to destroy the subscription once the component is destroyed. The edit mode, that is going to allow us to toggle the edit mode, the image, which is going to contain the file list, the image, and BC, which is going to control the behavior of the loading state. Now we add this public edit form. Using new form group, we're going to add inside the title, content, all cover name, and ID, and we're going to use the validators. Okay, so just like that. The next functionality is going to be the handle input. This one is going to allow us to grab the image, store it inside this image, because what we're going to grab is the file list from the input type file. So I'm going to add right now these two, because why not? The enable panel and the close panel. The enable panel is only going to set this to true, and I separated those because on the close panel I want to refresh this page using this router navigate by URL, and we're going to then go to the post and select again this current ID in order to refresh this page for the user to see the changes. So this will actually refetch the post. So now I'm going to work inside the engine on init. Okay, let's save this and let's take a look at what we have here, and you can see we cannot see anything else that the post works. So now we're going to say this that, let me see if I can type it right, post subscription, this that API service, which is already added. We will add the get post and we pass the current ID, this that current ID, that pipe. So the pipe is going to receive a response, or we're going to pass the response inside this pipe, and we're going to pass a function, which is the map. Sorry, this is not it. As I said, I was afraid that I wasn't going to type this correctly. So let's close the pipe and say map, okay, because this is it. Response is going to be type any, but we need to wrap it, okay, just like that. And this is going to be, okay, this shouldn't be there. And this is going to be a function. So this is the map, and it seems that it wants to close one. Okay, so let's see if we return the response data that is coming from the API. Okay, maybe we need another one. No. As I was saying, it's busy for a subscription. Oh, because we need to subscribe. Okay. So this should be fine. In this API service, we use the get post and pass the ID that will give us the response, which is going to pass through this pipe, so we can map it and actually just respond with the object that is contained inside the data property of the response. And for this to work, we need to subscribe. Okay, so this should actually work. Post, because I typed it wrong the last time I recorded this. We're going to set this that post equal to the post that is responding, which is containing the object with the title, content, cover, and all that from the document stored in MongoDB. Now we're going to say this that edit form that set value, we're going to set the values of the edit form that we have defined in order to allow us to update the information inside the MongoDB. So title this that post, sorry, this that post that title, because the post that we are using is this one, okay? Well, it's actually stored right now inside this that post, so we can use that. And we do the same for the other ones that we have. So let's paste that. Content, all cover name and ID. Just match those. The all cover is going to be the current cover, and the all cover name is going to be the cover name. So this is going to be needed because if we send information to MongoDB without those values, then even though the user hasn't changed the or didn't select a new image, the cover is going to be set to an empty string or empty object. I can remember because or I think also could be set to null, because we're not sending anything in order to overwrite what we have in the database. Okay, so we actually need that in order for this to work. So let's just add a semicolon there, and this should be fine. Now we need to go to a Angular core and import onDestroy implements, comma, onDestroy, because you can see we have a subscription here, okay, in line 20, so we can see that. So, and we specify that to be the subscription that we are using in order to receive the information. So inside still the class, we're going to say onDestroy ng onDestroy. Okay, it has a ton of things, but we're going to say this that subscription or post subscription that unsubscribe when the component is destroyed, for us to avoid memory leaks. Okay, so if we go back here, post works, okay, and we have a connection error, connection refused. So let's go back, and we should already at least get something. So let's wait. I want to see if I'm not consoling anything here. So let me just console that. Console.log response. So let me just console the response so we can see what is going on. Okay, so that is not okay. API post connection refused, known error. HTTP failure response for HTTP unknown error. Okay, so maybe, okay, so let's keep this one. Let's see if we don't have any errors inside the API. So let's see. So this shouldn't be happening. We are setting the localhost 4000, and that should be what we are looking for. So let me go to the service and see if we are setting that. API service is this one, API post 4000 plus post ID. Let me console that log that post ID. Seems to be fine. API post. Okay, we can get that, but we get the connection error. Why? We don't have any so we will need actually to go, so let me just close this one, to go to the API and see what is going on there. So this is our current API. Okay, so this is the database. And let's go to index. No, let's go to route. And the one I'm looking is get post. So it's returning the error, unknown error. Okay, so this is actually, this shouldn't be working, this shouldn't be happening, but let's continue with this and I will add the rest and then fix the error so you can see what the hell was going on. So let's continue with this and let me just add the rest of this. So let's save it and let's see. Okay, we are actually receiving that, as you can see, but for some reason it told me, or it told us that it was an that there was, sorry, an error. Maybe, so let me just close this one. This is the API. So maybe that could be a fetching error. Let me just close all this so we can see. Because everything should be working, we're selecting the correct route inside the API. As you can see, because we're receiving the information, but for some reason it told us that, well, that was odd. But anyways, it's working. So let me just tell you what this is doing. Since we have everything stored in the post, we're going to check if we have the post. Else, we're going to use a loader that we have here, the ng template, that is just a simple loader. Inside this div, we're going to pass, or we're going to use the properties of the document. You can see we are using the post cover. We're going to pass this div class content and use inside this div class controls the enable panel, which, as you can see, let me just click this one, is this one, okay? And we are going to pass the h2 and add the post title, and inside the div the post.content. So if we enable, or if we click enable mode, so you can see we're checking if enable mode is added or is true, then we're going to add this button that is going to allow us to close the panel from here. We already added that function that is just going to say edit mode to false, and then we add the form, which it should be populated right now with the information from the post. So let's save that again. You should refresh, nice, and edit panel. Since we don't have the stylings, that's why it displays here. You can see we have this close panel, and we can close it, and it's going to refetch the information. That's why it refreshes, because we need to show the user the new values, okay, and that needs a refetch. So you can see we have the second post and the lorem ipsum and all that. That is matching what we have here. And right now we cannot add or update this because, well, we don't have the functionality, but this is working. And despite the error that we had before, for some reason, that happened for some reason, well, everything seems to be working fine right now. So let me just grab the styles for the edit panel, so we can add that and have the style also for the buttons. So let me just grab this and inside the style.css, because I'm using CSS, just paste this and you can see we have this edit panel, the edit panel form, the edit panel form everything, and form everything, which is going to also match the create form that we will add later, the edit panel form input text area, and the other ones. Also this one, the form input type text, the edit panel form text area, a button, or just add the cursor pointer to all the buttons, the panel button and delete, which is going to add some styling to those, the delete button and the panel button. So let's save this and let's see how this looks. Edit panel, as you can see with the style we have this. So I still need to add a few more, and the loader, because we don't have the style for that, that's why it's not showing. And I have also the pagination style down there. Okay, so let's add this. Now, okay, the form input type submit, as you can see, the error for the validation, which we will add later, because I didn't add the validation to the post component, as you can see. But you can do that. I will show you how, and you can do that to add the validation, so you have the title and content with the validation, so the user won't be able to delete the information and submit again. And this is the loader that I already showed you, where you can get the loaders. So if you don't know where, let's say CSS loader, pure CSS loaders, I'm getting that one. I think it's this one. Okay, you add this inside your HTML and you just copy this, all this crap, inside your CSS, and that's it. Again, I have the pagination, the page item, and page link, which is the links inside the pagination and the pagination itself. So let's save this. Edit panel, as you can see we have the submit and the delete post. Close panel, and you can see the loader there, and you can see I only added this little this color and some style to the pagination. But I think we're going to leave it here. We still need to create the post. We need the form in order to create a post, and then delete the post and update them. So we will do that in the next video.